Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? So it is Saturday, 8 o'clock Pacific, and it is my turn to give back. During the week, I asked you to hit the thumbs up on our daily financial videos to the tune of 120 thumbs up, and you did it. So this is the way I give back. I'm going to riff here for just a little bit. Got a lot in the last 36 hours or so, so I will do my best to get through the whole list. And next week's goal for the financial news will be 130 thumbs up. So, all right, well, that was a minute. I have a lot to get through, so let me just jump in and see how many I can get to. All right, first off, got this. Hey, my market is crazy. Everything is selling in a day. What can I do? Should I send in an offer just to get something? I got that question in different flavors over the week. And if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, hopefully you know my answer. I got this question. It's actually why I created a video. I think it's called Public Service Announcement, or maybe it's called PSA this week. I think this window, call it July to December, is going to be dangerous for most new real estate investors. At least as we're starting this, it is such low supply, high demand, usually from owner occupants, and they're just overpaying. I've told you many times about a house that I would have paid 170 for. It was listed at 2 and it ended up going for 220. That's a 50K miss, right? And the deal doesn't make sense at 220. So, you know, learn your market and also be patient. This next 6 months is about learning. It's just dangerous. I feel a blow off top rally coming, and that's a very stock market thing. But we had it in 06, 07, where it just doesn't feel right. This could all change by September if supply comes on. We are missing supply. If you don't know what I mean by that, go to the video I did yesterday with Brian Lebo from Vegas. He brought us some charts that are hard to explain. Take a look at them and look at the month-on-month comparison. The fact that Vegas hit a record of 325, I don't see that as a sign of a healthy real estate market. There's pain in Vegas. We're just not seeing it right now because there's got to be a whole swath of homeowners that are in forbearance, and we don't know how that's going to play out. Looks like Vegas is shutting down again. He talked about bars. So we have delayed pain. That pain will come due. That pain will have a price. And given the Fed's intervention, I have no idea when that's coming. And if you buy now into this crazy market and you overpay, you're going to feel pretty foolish if foreclosures and short sales come on the market in November, December, January, February. I don't know when they're coming, but they're out there. Vegas has 30% unemployment. How can they have a record real estate price of 325 unless it's fake? It is fake. There is termites in the foundation. It might look pretty. And in this month, July, as Brian and I were talking at the end, could be even, I don't know, is it worse or better? More outlandish. Because again, we've hidden pain. The painful side of capitalism, which is the destruction, is being delayed, hidden. Nobody's, and trust me, it is out there. It just has to be. It's just we're not seeing it yet. So, if your market is crazy, congratulations. You know it's crazy. That's step one. You should pat yourself on the back. So that is a good thing. But please, please, please learn your market. Okay? If you need help with that, I have a course for $200. It's a ridiculous deal. It's easy to follow. People are doing it. But again, if you need to feel like you're doing something, learn your market. If you have no money, take my 75-day hard challenge. It's free. It's just 8 things you got to do every day. All right, I killed that one. All right, I got a couple of these last week that went something like this. Hey, real estate guy, real estate's hard. Why do you want to deal with tenants, toilets, and termites? Why don't you just trade the S&P 500 index at 2 or 3x leverage? Well, no thank you. First off, S&P 500 2 or 3x leverage doesn't produce cash flow. It's not tax advantage. And then most importantly, I've been that guy who thought that was the right answer 20 years ago. And while it has felt great the last 3 months, and you probably are watching Dave Poltznoy or whatever his name is, Barstool Sports, with his green math and real stocks only go up. Come on, that's going to end so spectacularly bad at some point. That's just, and I say this having done it. I was that guy 20 years ago who thought he could do no wrong, who thought he was better than Warren Buffett. And then you get your ass handed to you and you never forget. So the gentleman, the last one that sent me to this is a young guy in his 20s. He's like, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to retire. First off, I wish you nothing but luck. I hope the hand of God is on your shoulder and you sail off into the sunset. But realize history says that that's not a winning long-term strategy. So no stocks for me. Certainly no 2 or 3x leverage for me. Not going to happen. Another one is, should I look at price per square foot? No. I mean, frankly, no. Price per square foot is one of those realtor terms that they throw around. It makes you feel like you're getting a good deal. It means absolutely nothing to me. Rent per square foot, that might be interesting. And why do I say that? Well, do you know what an extra bedroom, bathroom, or parking get you in your market? You should. It's part of learning your market. So, for example, let's just take a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. That 2-bedroom, 1-bath house could be as small as 750 square feet or as large as 1,200. You know what the rent difference is in my market for 500 square feet? You know, apples to apples, same spot, same dirt, same all that stuff. Maybe 25 bucks, maybe. You know how much the cost difference is to clean, repair, all of that? Thousands of dollars. Price per square foot on an investment, landlord buy one rental at a time means nothing, and probably means you're going to buy bad deals. I would rather buy a 750 square foot 2-bedroom, 1-bath house over a 1,250 square foot 2-bedroom, 1-bath house every day of the week. I get just about as much rent, and my turnover cost is cheaper. I mean, just replacing the floors is half the price, right? Painting, half the price. Windows, probably half the price. So no, price per square foot is a dangerous metric as a real estate investor, as a buy and hold real estate investor. If you want to flip properties or do something else, probably have a different answer for you. But again, I'm the buy and hold one rental at a time guy, so I do not like price per square foot. Oh, somebody asked on one of my turnover videos, do tenants pay for yard care? Yeah, if it's a house, I'm only responsible for obviously the mortgage, property management, taxes, property taxes, and insurance. Tenants responsible for yard care, water, electricity, garbage, all of that stuff. Yep. So, yes, yard care is on the tenants. Now, if you, that's a very Fresno, California. I guess it's possible there's some regional differences. I don't know. I've never owned a rental that has where snow is a real possibility. So maybe if you had a rental where it snows, maybe you as the owner want to get snow off the roof or something. I don't know. but realize my experience is very California based. So it's possible that there's local things that are different, but I don't know. I got this question from South Africa, Canada, and Australia last week. So let me just answer it. Can my real estate course help them? The answer is yes. My course is generic. It could be used around the world. It just tells you how to learn your market, how to compare things. You're going to have to add local tweaks, like your property taxes will be very different. Probably your insurance will be very different. But there's nothing that I speak about that is US based. I built it to help everyone. That's my goal, is this takes off and helps people around the world. So yeah, there's nothing in my course. I can't think of anything that's even very US specific. No, it should help everyone, and it was built with that intention. My hope is one rental at a time. I got a picture from Saudi Arabia yesterday, day before yesterday. That was cool. If you live in a crazy part of the world and you have the book, take a picture. I'd love to see it. Oh, look at that. Snow removal is on the tenants. Yep. Let's see. Okay, answer that question. Oh, is it a plus to have a designer eye or construction experience? I have neither. And this question came off my pride of ownership finished product. And no, and I would be honest with you, I think a design eye is hard to say a mistake, but seems expensive to me because you're going to pick nicer things. What I've done, and you can look at my video, I think it's 2 minutes long. It's yesterday afternoon. And then if you go back and look at any of my others, they're pretty much all the same. Same two-tone paint, same exterior colors, same granite, same stuff in the bathroom. It's same. That allows me to move excess supply from project to project. The only question is how many cabinets and what's the configuration of the kitchen, because those are all configured differently. Other than that, there's very few questions my contractor and I talk about because it's the same. Same ceiling fan, same light cover, same outlet switches. I try to make it rinse and repeat, and I don't beat myself up on it. Some people do that, and they're like, by the fourth project, they're like, oh, I'm so bored, I want to change it up. Nope, I've done it 52 times now. I think 52 or 53 in about 2.5 years. Same. I don't even think about it. Totally okay with me. I've gotten this question several different ways. It's all the same. Why do you use yield or cash on cash? I call it yield versus cash flow per door. Fair question, I guess. I get it enough, so I might as well answer it. I know there's lots of people out there talking about, hey, minimum 200 per door or 400 per door or 100, whatever your minimum is. That doesn't feel like a good answer to me because, frankly, you know the difference between a $200 a door and 400? The down payment. If you're willing to put 2x down, you can always get to your minimum cash flow. That's a horrible use of capital, usually. I think having a minimum cash flow is a good idea, right? Like I wouldn't do a $50 cash flow property if my yield was 100%. But so I think you should use cash flow to set a minimum because you don't want to be one whoops away from an alligator, for sure. But just generically using minimum cash flow per door is a dangerous use of capital. So I'm okay with using minimum cash per door as a filter point, but I'm not going to decide to buy or not based on that. I want to know how hard my money is working. Exactly. That's exactly what I want to know. It's like you've listened over these years. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. So yield is most important. I want to know how hard my money is working. It's that simple. If it works harder in a house, I buy a house. If it works harder in a fourplex, I buy a fourplex. Too many of you want to do a fourplex over a house because you want to tell your friends you have 4 units. Are you kidding me? That means nothing, right? That means nothing. You want to know how hard your money is working. I've gotten this question comment a couple of times. We'll just sneak it in here. What is my minimum yield in Fresno today? I assume you're asking. Today it's 6.5, right? That's the average. So I want to do better than 6.5 to answer that question. Somebody asked, what is my house rent for? The one I put up yesterday. It'll rent between $1,300 and $1,400. We already have a Section 8 tenant approved. So we need to get their packet and move in. So there's that question. I got this question. There was a gentleman who left Vegas and moved to Fresno. He's a new investor, and he said, hey, if you knew both markets, where would you start today? That's a really interesting question. Because, I mean, I've been thinking about this since he wrote that yesterday or day before. Yesterday, I think. I think long term, either market will work. As we said earlier in my Brian Lebo rant, I think Vegas has pain that is currently hidden, and the pain is of unknown size. It feels like an iceberg, right? Where we're just seeing the very top of it, and we don't know how big it is, and I don't know how big it is. I know it's there. I know it's there. It just has to be. But I don't know when we're going to hit it, when it's going to cause pain and havoc and disruption. So, for the next year, I think Vegas is untouchable. Certainly the next 6 months, but probably the next year. Vegas is untouchable. But it could get so bad that, untouchable for a year, then you have 2 years of price destruction and value destruction, and then it's on sale. I mean, that could happen. I don't know. Maybe. I'm watching. That's why I watch Vegas all the time, because it's like the epicenter of pain. So if you want to spend a year learning your market and get good at it and build a network and do all of those things, Vegas could work. Fresno will not have the same level of pain in the short term. It is, I'm still buying there, but I have an unfair advantage. I have 20 years of history and a network and all of that. In the short term, call it the next 1 to 3 years, I would learn Fresno. It's actionable. It's still net migration. It's still, you can still live there on $60K a year. So it is interesting. But, part of me thinks Vegas will be on sale by 2023. So who knows? But you asked, that's my answer. Hope that helped. Somebody asked me about cold calling suggestions. I used to do it 20 years ago. I managed people that did it, so I'll give you that. And I think this came off, now that I think about it, I think this came off my Pace Morby videos, where I interviewed him. I've interviewed him a couple of times talking about subject 2. So the first thing I would tell you, and I tell everybody I interviewed that was one of my cold callers, is you need to get ready for rejection. Because you're going to get, for every one conversation that is meaningful, you're going to get 99 that are just nothing or nasty. You have to build a callus to it. So get ready for rejection. Not a lot of people are good at that. We're soft creatures who don't like rejection. Next thing is, it seemed like the person was looking for the magic script or phrase to build relationships over the phone. That's impossible. You're a complete stranger to this person, and you're probably calling them because they're on some kind of distress and they're already sensitive. So don't be in a rush to build a relationship. Be sincere and truthful. In your comments, it seemed like you wanted to not admit that you're looking to buy their house. Stop it. Tell them what you're doing. Now, don't be a jerk. Be truthful and be sincere. And they're either going to hang up on you, they're going to call you scum, or they're going to have a conversation with you. And then finally, Relationships are built over follow-up. It'll be the third or fourth conversation before you really start to build relationships. So don't be in a rush. This is not go to a bar, pick up man or woman, and sleep with them the first night. That's not how this works when you're trying to buy someone's house. It's in the follow-up. You gotta talk to someone 3 or 4 times before you have a relationship. Don't be in a rush. The money is in the follow-up. Okay. Another question, I think it was right below that question from Pace Morby. A couple of questions about subject to. First and foremost, if you're interested in subject to, I would follow Pace Morby. He has a Facebook group called Creative Financing, I think. I think that's what it's called. If not, look up Pace Morby, Pacemorby, I believe. 2 questions. Again, I'll answer them, but I don't do this. I don't do subject to. I do think it's interesting. I am looking at learning it, all of those things, but I've never done one. First was apparently Pace doesn't apply the deposit to the purchase price or to the purchase. I honestly don't remember that in that conversation. I would think it would have, but there's probably some legal reasons and how that's done. Again, I am not your subject to person. This question really should go to Pace, and I might send it to him. But since it was a question from the week, I wanted to answer it. And the answer is I don't know. And then the second question in the same comment was, what happens if you set the 5-year cash out at 150 and it's only worth 140? Well, you don't exercise the option, or you lower the price, right, and get cashed out, right? It is that simple. So that's that one I know. All right, that's only page 1, people. Now we go to page 2. Oh, a couple of different people asked, do you have any predictions about the South Bay, which means San Jose, Morgan Hill, or Gilroy? These are very Bay Area cities. And what I can tell you, it's about jobs. Right now, there's a lot of Silicon Valley companies. I just heard ServiceNow, for example, which has a huge office on 101. What would that be? Would that be San Jose? Might be Santa Clara. It's probably Santa Clara. It's right by Lawrence, I think. They're telling their employees they can live anywhere there's an office, an entity. So we might be seeing the great California exodus. This might be why Vegas is on fire today, as we talked about earlier. All this stuff is going on at all time, people. This is craziness going on. So I don't know. The South Bay, Gilroy, San Jose, Morgan Hill, I certainly wouldn't buy today, but they could be fine, because what's happening is people in San Francisco is a clear loser as far as values. Done. Rents down, values down. San Francisco, just like New York, vertical. Homeless problems, not a great quality of life. San Francisco, done. But now what happens? Do people that were in San Francisco, do they move to San Jose, Morgan Hill, and Gilroy because their quality of life will be better, right? They'll trade a $6,000 month of rent shoebox for a pretty big place by comparison. Or do they go right from San Francisco to out of state like Texas, Nevada, Florida? I don't know yet. I don't know. I think the Bay Area is in for a balloon that deflates. I think the balloon has a hole. I don't think it pops. I think New York, San Francisco pop. I don't think South Bay pops, but I do think it's a slow leak. And I think the biggest problem for the Silicon Valley is, do we attract new employees, right? I've been here almost 50 years, and we've always had that best and brightest, college graduates coming here to try to make their name in technology and software and all that, internet. I don't know if that's going to be true in 5 years. I don't think the Silicon Valley will be the Silicon Valley as we know it. And if that's true, right, we don't get that migration in, it could be very different. So yeah, very different. So that's what I think. All right, that's that one. Tell us about value add deals. Are they only in multifamily? No. I mean, you could do. I think the Burr strategy that you hear Burger Pockets talk about all the time. I think that's a value add strategy for single family homes. The whole notion of a value add property is you buy it at a discount to current value. They talk, if you listen to the wholesalers, they talk about buy at 70% of ARV minus repairs. You're buying it at a discount. Then your repairs, and then you extract equity or value via the Burr method with the refi, which you should go back and watch my Burr videos. I don't think it's a great time to do Burr projects. It's probably the worst time in the last 5 or 6 years, but that's not the question. The question is, can you do value add in single family? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can. Multifamily value add became a thing because it was the thing the syndicators were all chasing. They wanted to go get short-term debt. They wanted to take rents from 1,000 to 2,000. Then they wanted to recap that and then sell it. But yeah, you can do them in single family as well. All right, I'm going to stop just for a second because we have 46 people watching and 17 thumbs up. Come on, folks. I've been talking for 26 minutes now. Give me some love. All right, that's enough. Somebody read my book and saw that I got my real estate license there at the end of my book. I talked about it. They asked if I got any value of it. So first off, I made about 20 grand because I took a piece of the commission on some of my apartment sales. So I had to claim $20,000 in income from it that I wouldn't have had to do if I had not. So that was fun. But I'm not going to renew my license. I got my license because I thought there was a set of data that I was missing. Because I like to learn my market. I like to know what's going on. And I thought there was some hidden information that would make me more knowledgeable about my market, and was greatly disappointed. It was probably very true 15 years ago, but today with all the apps from Zillow, Redfin, yada, 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 I got all the data. There was one kind of realtor comments field that was interesting. It's very rarely used. It was no value. And second, I don't like paperwork. I hate paperwork. So no, I'm not renewing my license. I did a video. Who did I do that with? Oh, I think Greg this week on Monday, and the expert series, Greg Dickerson, talking about getting your license. If you want to be a realtor because you like helping people and you like doing that, awesome. It's a tremendous career. But if you're doing it like me because you thought there was some super secret coder ring stuff, in 2020 and beyond, it's just not there. So I will not be renewing it. I passed, I think I only have it for another 3 months because it's 2 years at a time in California, I believe. So I will not be renewing it. I don't even live in my market that I would hang my shingle in. So there's that answer. Oh, here's a question I thought was fun. How do I learn should I learn the wholesale, short sale, foreclosure game? This is YouTube University gone wrong, in my opinion. It is not about learning a transaction type. That comes and goes with the seasons. And if you become a wholesaler or just a short seller or just focus on foreclosures, you will have your time in the sun, and then you will be frozen out for most of the market. Folks, I don't care if you're a wholesaler, a flipper, somebody interested in short sales or foreclosures. It all starts with learn your gosh darn market. If you're going to be a wholesaler, you want to be able to understand what your buyers are, what the ARV is, and all of that. If you're a flipper, you want to know that. You need to learn your market. Stop looking for the magic transaction type that's going to unlock financial freedom. You flipped it on its head. You need to learn your market. When you learn your market, you can extract value always. Is the market in foreclosures? Great, extract value. Is the market ripping higher? Great, extract value from wholesaling. Are short sales coming? Great, extract value. But stop it. Stop thinking, I got to do this or I got to do that. No, you got to go, gosh darn, learn your market. And if you need help, look below. Okay, that's that one. Oh, one more thing on that I noted down in my answer. The whole key to buying and selling lots of property is twofold. One is you have to get in front of owners. You get in front of owners lots of different ways. You could do mailers, cold calling, texting, door knocking, doesn't matter. But you can't buy unless you communicate somehow with owners. It doesn't happen. And two, you need to learn your market. I don't get tired of saying it, but I do feel like it's a broken record. Thank you for asking. Yes. Sometimes. I got this question from somebody in NorCal, which is where I live, Silicon Valley, saying, I can't buy anything here. The price to rent ratio is all out of whack. Yeah. I'm guessing you didn't read my book, because in my book I highlighted how I spent 52 weekends completely losing my mind. Yeah, there are certain markets that don't make sense to buy rental properties in unless you're just ungodly rich and you want to have negative cash flow. Yeah, that's called an alligator. The Bay Area with 20% down produces alligators. And of course, if you follow me, you don't buy alligators. Live where you want, invest where the numbers make sense. I tried the Bay Area, didn't work. I went to Fresno. Oh, can you talk about inflation and real estate? Yeah, let's be clear. I think there's actually two types of inflation. And we're seeing one of them right now. And very few people are talking about it. I think there's something called asset inflation. And now this doesn't happen a lot, but we are experiencing today with trillions of dollars of outside intervention from the Fed. The Fed is clearly, without question, propped up the stock market and, I suspect, housing. So when you think inflation, there are two types. We are currently experiencing asset inflation, which if you own rental properties coming into this, you own stocks coming into this, you're like, hey, give me some more of that, right? It feels good while it's going on. But there is another side, right? When the Fed extracts and things of that nature. Yes, please buy the book, write a review. Come on, help me out. But yes, asset inflation, we're going to see what happens when the Fed steps back. I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can meaningfully. This economy may not be back to where it was until 2022 or 23. Does the Fed have the stomach to stay in that long? I don't know. This is why I'm telling you this next 6 months is dangerous. Back to the Vegas conversation. Learn your market, man. If I was starting now and I had that 40K I wrote in our book, if you're new, you just can't write that offer. Now, of course, somebody's going to write a comment. Well, my market's different. Well, great. Your market's different. You can't do it in mine. Yeah, it's crazy. So then there's the one that most people talk about. It's the one that's the Fed mandated 2%. And I call that consumer inflation. And I'm creating a separation because I think there is asset inflation. Most people talk about consumer inflation. And right now, I think at least for this year, we're probably the basket of goods that goes into the inflation calculation could very likely be deflationary. That will be a blip. I think Q2 was certainly deflationary. Q3 probably will be deflationary. But I think the deflation will be a 2020 hiccup. The question is when does the price to pay come from all this money sloshing around in the system? And I don't think it's out of the world to say that inflation is one of the, is the disease worse than, is the cure worse than the disease? I don't know. I don't see consumer inflation coming back until the economy really comes back. If we're running at north of 7 or 8% unemployment, we still have 30% less restaurants, no entertainment to speak of. It's hard to see how inflation could come back meaningful. But realize we could be paying this price for inflation for a decade, right? I mean, once it picks up, right? If you've done any history about inflation in the Carter administration with Volcker taking prime rate or whatever it was, the Fed fund rates to 11 or 12 or whatever it was, it's nasty to get under control when it comes. It's out there. It's a threat. This same question talked about hyperinflation. If you're talking Zimbabwe type of hyperinflation, I don't see that, at least not as long as we're the reserve currency of the world. We lose that in a decade or two, maybe. It's not going to happen in a decade, I don't think. But in the end, if you own real estate and you bought it with a 30-year mortgage with a 2 or a 3 on it, you're going to be fine. This question asked about what happens to the mortgage. Well, you've signed a 30-year mortgage and the interest rate doesn't change. I have no idea what the houses in Venezuela are, not my market. But again, your mortgage doesn't go up. If inflation goes up, your mortgage balance doesn't go up. You win, actually, right? Inflation reduces the value. So yeah, I think you win as a real estate owner because your debt is fixed. And oh, by the way, rents will go up. That will be one of the outputs of inflation is rents go up. So I think if you own a pile of real estate that cash flows, conservatively financed, 30-year fixed rate debt, inflation is your friend. It's going to hurt your grocery bill. It's going to hurt your gas bill. It's going to hurt all of those things. But I think if you own enough real estate, it's a blip compared to all the goodness you will get from it. I think this question comes from a Dave Ramsey investor. Thoughts on cash flow versus accelerated mortgage paydown? Or it could be, do I get a 30 or a 15-year mortgage? Sometimes these questions, I have to guess what you're thinking. I guess I'll answer both. First off, I typically say a 30-year mortgage, if you want to pay off more, pay off more. It's your call. You want to have the greatest flexibility. Sometimes I get the question of, hey, I'm 50. I'm not going to work for 30 years. What should I do? I say, well, put an extra 10% down and get a 15-year mortgage, right? Whatever makes you feel comfortable. If you're a Dave Ramsey fan, first off, I hate his real estate investing advice. It's probably the worst I've heard, frankly. I don't think you should be in a race to pay it off. You should be, especially in the beginning, right? You want to build a big foundation so that as time goes by, all the ships go up. And then as you get ready to exit, then you could sell off a couple and pay off everything. I do see an advantage of having them free and clear if that's who you are at the end, but not in the beginning. If you bought one and then you spent 5 to 8 to 10 years paying it off, you would miss all that appreciation on others. It would be, it's just not and we don't live to be 200 people. We live to be 90 or 100 or whatever it is. If I followed Dave Ramsey's advice, I would not be financially free. I'd probably own 3 properties. That would suck. Oh, that would suck. Yeah, not a big fan. I need 10K to get out of the rat race. How do I get started? How do I get started? Well, as everybody likes to joke now, learn your market. I think, first off, congratulations on knowing your number, right? Whether it's 3K, 5K, 10K, 20K. Knowing your number, you're ahead of most people. So congratulations. 10K is doable, but realize if you're following me, it's going to take you 5 to 10 years. I mean, I don't know what market you're in. I don't know your financial position, but I would tell you 10K is very doable. Frankly, we replace 2 6-figure incomes with one rental at a time, so I know it's doable. But most people aren't willing to learn their market. You're not willing to sacrifice, be uncomfortable, because this is about earn, save, invest, repeat. So learn your market, sacrifice, cut expenses, get after it. I've told you many times, the first 5 to 8 years didn't feel like much was going on, but then it started to feel good, and then it felt great. So yeah, learn your market, cut expenses, increase your money during your day job, and get after it. Buy the first one, then you buy the second one, then you buy the third one. There's no secret to 100 plus doors. You got to all starts with one. How did you control timelines and scope while working full time? So this question, I believe, came off one of my flip videos. So in fairness, I didn't flip anything while I was working full time. I didn't have any time. I had 20 minutes a day to commit to finding the next deal, but I didn't have time to manage general contractors, quality. I just didn't have it. I didn't flip and do these big jobs like when I had a full-time job. I think it's dangerous, and I wouldn't recommend it. Maybe if you live in the market, you could do it, maybe. But I live 2.5 hours away one way, so not something not something I did, and I wouldn't recommend it. It's too distracting. I couldn't imagine doing my 70 or 80 hour a week job plus doing rental properties plus buying and managing general contractors. So the answer to your question is I didn't do it. Oh, I don't know where this question comes from, but I'll answer it. What states do you recommend moving to? I'm not even sure how to answer that question. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you're at. I think there's a lot of people that are going to look to move to states with zero income tax. And I think I did a video on them. There are 7 states that do that now. Let's see if I can remember. I can't remember, I'm sure, but give it a shot. Washington State, Nevada, Texas, Florida. I want to say Alaska. I am missing a couple. Anyways, yeah, I think there's that. I don't really, asking me where you should move to is kind of wonky. I don't know what you like to do. Do you like to be outdoors? Do you like city life? Again, folks, live where you want. Invest where the numbers make sense. If you want to live in Beverly Hills, live in Beverly Hills. What do I care? You want to live in, I don't know, City X, live in City X. Yeah, sometimes I get really odd questions. All right, last time I do this. We have 59 people watching and 32 thumbs up. I've been talking for 43 minutes and 43 seconds. Show some love. Okay. Is it too soon to look at multifamily? Yes. Well, yes and no. Is it too soon to look? No, I don't think it's ever too soon to look. Getting your bearings, understanding the numbers, getting a baseline, learning your market. So I think looking is okay. It is far, far too early to have any pain. I am just like all of you. I want the deals now, but real estate is not the stock market. Real estate is not the stock market. It doesn't change minute by minute, day by day, week by week. Real estate is slow. Real estate has lenders involved and owners involved and courts. You can have courts involved in some states. Pain is going to be felt in multifamily for years to come. Years. There's bridge debt. There's more perm debt. It is far too early to have price discovery. Sam Zell was interviewed. I saw it on YouTube. I think it was Bloomberg. It might have been Yahoo Finance. But anyways, he was interviewed. I saw it on YouTube. Um, and he's like, no, I'm sitting on cash. There's been no price discovery. And he's right. There's going to be epic destruction in multifamily, certain categories. Now, there will be some cities that win, probably Texas, probably Florida. There'll be some cities that are epic. I mean, like, can you imagine what's going on in New York right now? Like New York City, Manhattan, record vacancies, months free, people are leaving. The bigger apartments where families lived are empty. They're all going to the suburbs. Man, New York's going to be in pain for a while. Then somebody asked me about my portfolio. What percent of your loans are by banks or private lenders? I have no idea why you want to know that stuff, but whatever. So all of my commercial properties have bank financing, all of them. Of my residential 4 and below, all of my duplexes through quads, so duplex, triplex, quads, all have bank loans. 30% of my houses have private loans. I bought them at cheaper times, so about 30% of my homes have private loans. Not sure why you want to know that, but I'll answer the question. So yeah, I guess I have a fair amount of bank loans. But maybe what you're asking is, maybe what you're trying to get at is, I think this might be what you're trying to get at is, I don't remember the last single family bank loan I've gotten. I think that's what you might be asking. Because getting a single family home when you own a lot of rental properties is tough to do. First off, I can't get FHA rates, all these 3s and 4% that all of my followers get. I can't see them. I would have to go to probably a credit union or somebody who portfolios the loan. I did a refi with, what's that company that Dan Gilbert owns? Is going public? I forget. There's a company going public I talked about yesterday. Why am I drawing a blank? Quicken Mortgage? No, that's not right. Anyways, Dan Gilbert owns them. And I did a couple of refis with him 2 years ago. Why can't I remember that stupid bank? Rocket Mortgage. Thank you. Man, hurt my head. Rocket Mortgage. I was hoping somebody would say. So yeah, I haven't gotten a bank loan on a new single family home in 15 years probably. Because again, remember, I went houses to apartments, then apartments to houses, but I had to get private or hard money. Then the market turned around. We had some cash. We sold some apartments. So yeah, I think that's what you're getting at. All right. So that's 2 pages of questions. If I missed your question, I'm sorry. Hopefully we'll do this again next week. We're going to look for 130 thumbs up next week on our daily financial news. Thank you for the 41 thumbs up. This has been fun. I will hopefully talk to you next Saturday. All right, everybody. Take care.